Shall we get started? All right. I thought the first thing we might want to take time to discuss is the traffic study, since we really haven't had an opportunity to do that. And so, if any of you have got some thoughts or questions about that?
I had some concerns or something.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to just kind of go through it section by section and
Sure.
everybody chime in on their concerns for that section or whatever. Okay, section. Okay, just on the second page, under B, existing conditions, data collection, existing roadways near the Sanford Road provides an approximate 20-foot wide, unstriped roadway with no shoulders for two-way travel. There is no posted speed limit, so by default state maximum 55 mile per hour applies. Just a comment on that, it seems like it's a dangerous road the way it stands for trucks, large trucks and two-way traffic with no shoulders and no striping and 55 miles an hour. Just a comment on that.
Okay. I think the comment was made that, I know I asked, and I believe striping is something that can be done
Yes.
for a very minimal cost. And there was a process started to reduce the posted speed limit.
Yep, just waiting on hearing back from the state.
So what would it be reduced to then?
Whatever the state decides, if it needs to be reduced at all, it's totally up to New York State.
So what do they use to determine, I mean, how,
They do their own traffic study with their engineers.
so they control what it is? We can't say, oh, we'd like it reduced to 30. If
Exactly.
they say, oh, there's no reason to reduce it, then it wouldn't get reduced.
And I checked with George Weddy last week, and he said he hasn't heard anything back yet, so.
And the 20-foot, let's see,
Yeah, you know, and I don't know about the 20-foot wide with the no shoulders kind of thing. I have to look at other roads to see what's the typical
That-
width on a
20 foot is the widest that any of our town roads are.
town roads are.
That road actually only is required to have 9-foot driving lanes, not 10-foot driving lanes, because of the volume of traffic that,
Normally, yeah.
yeah, the
For
volume of traffic.
It just seems that
And I would,
envisioning, yeah.
I mean, I'm not an engineer,
Mm,
but I am the highway superintendent, and it has shoulders on
It does.
it. Sure it does, it's like any other road.
It says.
It doesn't have
no-
paved
It says with no
shoulders.
shoulders,
Well, it
yeah.
doesn't have paved shoulders, but the shoulders are there.
Level ground on either
Yes.
side, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, because my concern is, you know, you think about these big trucks and the school buses and they're going past each other and no shoulders and just looks to me like it's not a safe road, especially at 55 miles an hour.
and we're working into, it will be, well, if the New York State agrees with you, the 55 will be down.
Yes,
They'll
if
lower
you're,
it.
yeah, if they're, when they get done with whatever they have to do with their process, if they tell us that it's gonna be 30 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour, whatever they dictate it is what it'll be.
Brian, when they do this, do they know the potential for additional traffic and big trucks? I mean, when you submit to this, are they aware that that's the potential?
I didn't see what the county part of it, see, we petition the county and then the county petitions
Okay.
the state. I don't know what George put in his petition to the state, but the two towns' petitions, Victories and Sterling, both had the concerns of the gravel bed
Okay,
as the reason for the reduction.
okay.
Do we have any history on how long it takes the state to respond to a request like this?
Not really. There's no timeline. They've got till they feel, necessary to do it, so.
The distance when you pull out, I mean, it's, we measured it, how, do you know where it's gonna go on?
No, I don't recall what it is, but it's not.
You couldn't get a truck up to 55 and then stop it. I mean, it's such a short period of time, there's no way that a truck, it's not like a car where you can hit the gas pedal and go, you know what I mean? You're not, and then you still gotta allow time to stop. It's not, again, it's not like a car where you're just gonna lock up your brakes and, so,
Might be 3.5, 4 tenths of a mile, maybe.
yeah, I mean, I understand your concern, but also take into consideration that there's no feasible way you're gonna get up to 55 in a truck in a quarter of a mile or whatever, 3/10 of a mile.
Between when it enters Popo Road from the bed, you mean?
Yeah, between where you pull out of the gravel bed,
Yeah,
there's only one way out, so you pull out to the left,
uh-huh.
and then you gotta stop at the T, so if it's 3/10, 3/10 of a
And
mile
that's what it is along Popo Road to Sanford?
from the driveway, actually, we measured it from the original driveway, so
Yeah, I don't remember, it's been a month.
it's even shorter, so say 2/10 of a mile or 3/10 of a mile from the driveway of the gravel bed, but, we moved it to the south now,
Uh-huh.
so it's a little shorter, but either way, 2/10 or 3/10
From the driveway to
to the stop
the
sign.
next intersection, the Popo
Yeah.
and Sanford and Popo
Yeah,
intersection.
correct. Yeah,
And they stop and then proceeds on
yeah.
Popo from
And did you say, CJ, who did I hear this? That you would be willing to stripe that road? Where did that come from?
I don't know. If you're willing to put it in his permit as a condition that he has to pay for it, then I guess he'd have to, wouldn't he?
Who would actually stripe it? Would that be, that would
We'd
be,
contract it the same as we do with state,
oh, okay.
and then we'd have to bill for it, if that's what they decide, but.
So the state decides again on the striping, is that what you're saying?
No, the town does.
Oh, we can decide.
But we don't stripe our roads, because
Yeah.
once you stripe it, it has to be striped from there on. And if you were to stripe all of your roads, it would be quite costly. But in this situation, I don't see why we shouldn't stripe it if he gives his permit.
Should not stripe it?
I don't see any reason why we don't stripe it. It
Okay,
needs to be striped.
okay, all right.
I
I mean,
agree.
it's one more step towards
Exactly.
safety.
Exactly. Yep.
I remember I asked you about Crane Road, when you put that new, will it be striped? You said no.
Right,
It never has been, I don't think.
no,
But that's different than this.
right.
Okay, so maybe. Striping to, all right.
On the next page, the pages aren't numbered, but it's right before you get to C, paragraph C.
They actually numbered them on the top. In the top.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
page
yeah.
4, right, okay.
I just
Page 4
noticed
of
that.
10, okay. Review of the 2012 New York State DOT report found that accidents at the Route 38/104 intersection are higher than the statewide average. And I think according to his table, it's over 4 times the statewide average. And that is a bad intersection. I've crossed it and it's the fellow that normally sits here.
Oh, Scott.
Scott, yeah, he said he drives his truck and he found it was a bad intersection. I think in general, it is a tricky intersection and that's a concern, that it's already, accidents are already 4 times the state average there.
Where do you see that 4 times?
Somewhere else in the report. 4.4, somewhere it said 4.4 times the state average. Then the next thing was the trip generation and future traffic volumes. If you look at, I guess table 1 gives you the current traffic conditions, what the peak is on New York State Route 104 for AM and PM. And Ken, in his response to one of the comments, said that in 2012, about 9% of the traffic along 104 was trucks. So if that's the case, then at the peak times, if you look at 198 in the morning, 9% of that would be like 18 trucks an hour at peak. And the PM would be at 289% of that would be like 25 trucks an hour. Now, if we add to that, then the trucks coming out of the mining at the peak times, if we say that there's going to be 20 truck trips per hour, which is what he said somewhere else that would be the peak, if you assume 100% of them go along that road, then you would be over doubling the truck volume on 104. If you assume like 75% of them go that way, which is probably a reasonable assumption, that of all the trucks, that's one thing we probably need to discuss, of all the trucks coming out, where are they going to go? Well, most of them are going to go on 104, I would think. I mean, I think you could say if you're going south, you could go on 38, north you can go on 38, but I think if you look at the larger picture, most of them are going to go 104 to, if they're going to go way up north, they'll go on 81 or something, in the south they'll go to 81. I don't think many of them would go on 38 if they're going south. I don't know. Correct me if you have a different opinion, but I would imagine most of them would go on 104. But, all right, so if you assume between 75 to 100% of them are going on 104, you're almost doubling the number of trucks per hour going along 104 at peak times. And that's significant. That's a significant increase. Very significant.
I don't know who you would talk with to find out what, I don't know how you could ever figure out exactly, well, they would probably go that way, it all depends on where their loads are, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on what the final destination
You're
is.
thinking
But
worst
if you look-
scenario maybe.
Yeah, but if you look at,
versus-
yeah, worst scenario, I
Yeah.
think typical scenario is they're going to be going on 104, either east or west, one way or the other, to
Where
get
they go
to some
Syracuse,
major
so, I
road.
mean, you're speculating,
Yeah,
first of all, so.
But-
If you're going to Syracuse, you're gonna go south on 38, you're not gonna go on
38 to what?
370.
Do you think they would take that rather than go 104?
Well, 104 goes west.
Yeah.
Why would
Yeah,
you-
but you way out of your way to-
104
Three,
to,
Why would you do that?
because you go 3, 481, so you have double lanes.
No, just keep your comments up here, this is our.
You would go, I would drive, because it's the
Yeah.
shortest distance and it's a good road. I would go 38 south to 370 to 690. But that's my personal opinion, so I don't know. But you can't, I
Okay,
don't know
so
how you
maybe-
speculate where the loads.
I know, I don't know, I just
Just
saying that, to me, I'm trying to figure it out, I thought, well, a valid assumption is that, say, 75% of them are gonna wind up on 104, either west or east, and 25% would go on 38. I don't know, maybe it's 50%, but it's something like that, you know, I mean, 75-25, I think is a reasonable assumption. that-
What would you expect?
I would assume the opposite. I would assume 75 going to Syracuse. There's more business in Syracuse than there is Hannibal or north on.
Or Rochester.
on-
Rochester
I'm not
would
gonna
be
take
west,
material from
Syracuse.
here to Rochester. It's too far, okay?
So it'd be Syracuse.
It's not
would be-
cost effective, yeah. I mean, Syracuse, you can't haul a load of gravel 2 hours away and make money. So you know, you gotta stay within a certain range. So
All
there
right,
will
so-
be, I would say,
50%.
1% will go west on 104. Okay, maybe 5%, okay? just, I don't know what businesses that you got. What do you got on 104 before you get to Rochester? I mean, there's,
Orchards.
what's that?
Orchards, yeah. There's not a lot of building,
Not
that's
much
not
out
where
there.
Rochester's expanding. It doesn't come this way.
I
No,
think
Rochester's
the guy
expanding.
that did the traffic study, I think, assumed equal 25% in each direction, north, south, east, and west. And I suppose that's another way of looking at it, without knowing anything else, you assume. So then 50% would be going on 104 and 50% would be going 38, either north or south. But, all right, so but even at that, then 38 is way over. If we increase it more on 38, then that's even worse, because then you'd have like 10 trucks an hour going on 38, which currently now has like 5 trucks an hour or 7 trucks an hour, depending on, during the peak times. So we'd be more than doubling the traffic on 38.
And you're talking peak hours.
Peak hours, yeah.
What is your experience with time of day? Is there any average where it's peak hours, or it all depends?
it depends on it just depends on the day. I mean, like I told you, everything is changed 100% to where it was when I first approached the board with this. So for me I can't honestly tell you. I mean, it'd be a lie if I said something, because
It depends on the
there's no
job.
way to know. I mean, I could be building a house in Oswego where I need gravel. You could be building houses in Syria, I have no idea. I can't honestly give you an answer. I mean, I wish I could predict the future. If I did, I wouldn't be sitting right here right now.
I guess just taking, your past experiences, but to me, it would depend on what business is, what you're doing with the gravel.
Exactly, it really does.
Not to negate what
Yeah, so I
Susan's
think,
point.
you could just assume equal distribution in all directions then, not knowing anything different.
Yeah, that would be
Percentage.
fair.
Yeah.
That would be fair.
And,
The whole agenda though is to get on the state roads. I mean, right? I mean, they're usually
I
a
would-
better road. and
that's why I was
what
thinking
we wanna do.
that's why I was thinking 104, because it's a better road, they can go faster, and it's, better than 38, it's not as windy, and, but anyway, they would be on one or the other, and both of them would have significant increase in truck traffic, and which is an annoyance to the people, I think.
104 is awful now with trucks.
I mean, I
They
got
don't
caught
take
behind
the
a truck
throughway,
today
they
going to the
take
house.
104.
Well,
And we, being a tourism is our big industry here, adding a lot of trucks and the roads that people are traveling is not desirable. Comment. Then on page 5 of 10, when it's talking about the time gap summary, if you look again at the on the bottom of table 4, New York Route 104, if you look at the gap length there, and what he says in the paragraph before that, a maneuver making a turn requires a time gap of 11.5 seconds. And and I'm particularly concerned about that intersection turning onto 104, 122 of the 280 vehicles or cases there was a gap of less than 11.5. And that's significant. That's 45% out of 280 cases. You're not going to have enough time, and it's, I think, a recipe for an accident. That turn is already bad, and if we're saying 45%, that's a lot, where the time gap is less than the acceptable for a maneuver. And that's when accidents happen, when people are trying to turn and they don't realize that there isn't enough time.
Well, that table's confusing to me.
Yeah, and I think,
Is it talking about gaps,
yeah,
or is it talking about number of vehicles? Or is that the same thing?
well, I think that what they're measuring is the gap in between vehicles as they come along.
Yeah.
That, you know, they measure, okay, first vehicle, next, how much time is it between vehicles? Well, if you look at each one and you count that time, that it says that 122 of them, there was less than 11 and a half seconds between one vehicle and the next. And then there was 56 that were between 11.5 to 23, et cetera, et cetera. And so you add up all those numbers, 122, 56, 27, 75, that takes you to 280, which is the number in the left-hand column, which is the number of trucks per hour at that time. And so if you take 122 and divide by 280, you get 45%. So that's telling you that 45% of the time, the gap is too short.
Is that vehicles or just trucks?
Doesn't
It's
say.
vehicles,
Vehicles, right?
yeah.
Is Mr. Worsted gonna be at the next meeting to answer these questions?
He would need another $1,200.
Yeah. To the extent that we have questions, we may want to consider to, have him here and answer these questions. 'Cause, I mean, I know in the, right below the table, that you're referring to, table 4, it states that, the conclusion that he says, this means the roadways have more than sufficient capacity to accommodate the additional traffic.
I know, that, but the reason he said that is he was looking at the average time gap. And I disagree with his conclusion, because I think it's not the average time gap, it's the individual number of times that you have it less than the required interval. I don't think the average means anything.
Mhm.
And then the next thing with the site distance evaluation, I didn't really get into that in a lot of detail, I ran out of time. Again, if you look at a couple of the things here, again, that intersection, New York Route 38, 104, the evaluation shows the available site distance looking left and right are less than the ASHTO guidelines on New York Route 38 to both connector leg, stopping site distance guideline is not met. Consideration should be given to improving the vertical curve of the road through the periodic maintenance reconstruction of 104. What does that mean? Who pays for that?
Page is yours.
Page 8 out of 10.
What paragraph was that
Right
in,
here,
Susan?
right here.
Under New York Route 30, page
Oh,
8,
38 and 104?
slash the connector leg, I guess if you take that little connector leg going,
That was something we had them look into, but I don't think that is a feasible route for a truck.
On the connector?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Ask him because he tell us different.
What's that?
that connector leg, is that feasible to
Versus
use?
the town barn road.
The connector leg is what the trucks would use,
okay,
not the town barn road,
okay.
wouldn't they? See, I mean, if you were heading west, wouldn't you go to the end of 38 Steve here?
I would, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because there's not good
Would make
visibility.
another turn.
Right, because there's not good visibility off the town.
Barn, the
Town
barn.
The angles where
Okay.
it comes into the road is hard to see back towards.
Yeah, and then
Okay,
east, you have
that's
to
right.
make that turn too.
Right.
Do we have a map of that, Leslie, or Lisa, that shows that? My map on my copy was not very good.
Well, yeah,
Would there be a sign
it's right here.
on the town barn
There's one
road?
there and there's one back here, right there.
Would there be?
Oh, no, could there be? Is there anything there now that just,
So it gets perpendicular
It's just
to
that-
104.
if I'm coming south up to the town, up to 104, and it cut off, that's what you're talking about, town barn road there?
Town barn road is a town of Victory road.
Oh,
Yeah, right there.
And
This is the
I'm
town.
sorry, but
road.
you can't dictate where people drive.
No,
The roads are open to the
this is
public.
north,
you can't say
Right.
no
This is the
trucks there,
collector
even
road.
if it's
Okay.
No.
this is
a
the
cut,
top
a cut
line
of
down here.
thing. I mean, it's
What he's
plowed.
saying, this one coming in, that's
Stop and
such
turn
a,
there.
Yeah.
It's
it's
narrow.
almost similar to up
So
here.
much easier to
The
do
truck
it.
will do this and over
And you
there,
wouldn't do it.
90
You wouldn't do
degree.
it.
That was probably put in there, that connector road, so that people wouldn't have to turn sharply to
Turn
go
west.
west
On 38.
on 104.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was actually put in there for the state trucks to turn that way when they leave the town barn, or the state highway barn,
Yeah,
when they're plowing, because they couldn't make the sharp bend back.
yeah.
But you're saying that is a state road now? That connector
It's-
road?
Yeah, it's part of State Route 38. It's only about from me to you long.
I've seen cars go that way,
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're coming down 38, that's the way you would go to make a left
If you're
hand.
going west, you almost gotta do that.
Yep.
Instead of going up to the, 104, the other one.
Then on page 9, under other considerations, and this I didn't quite understand, concern regarding trucks driving south on Popple Road was noted by a resident. There are no posted weight restrictions on Popple Road, da da da. The bridge over Sterling Creek near Stanford Road has no posted restrictions, and as of 2012, its primary members were rated as a 5 out of 7. Now, where is this bridge, and why are things going to actually go south on Popple Road, or further
No,
than?
it's down here, go down here, you
Yeah.
hit Popple Road,
Right.
if you go left there,
Then you'll
there's a
hit-
bridge crossing a creek,
Okay.
the same creek
Oh,
that,
so they're saying some trucks could end up going that way? Why would they go down there?
Once
They
again,
got
it's,
customers.
it's a public highway.
So they could go anywhere.
It's not posted.
You can't control where, that's the thing, you can't control where they go. Yeah, you just have to say, make assumptions.
Thank God.
So if they do start going over that bridge, I guess the concern was that's gonna create wear and tear on the bridge and which leads me to, I guess, my last question on this is that who pays for the increased wear and tear on the roads and bridges
We
due
do.
to all these trucks?
All the truck drivers pay for it. We pay a highway tax. Every mile I drive on the road, I have to pay a tax. So we pay for it.
You pay to New York State,
Exactly. Yep.
but how does it come down from New York State to
No
us
idea.
for our particular
Probably
roads?
doesn't, but
Yeah. So I'm saying, if we have to
Actually,
fix our roads,
It's
how
supposed
does,
to be,
isn't it the taxpayers that are gonna be paying?
well, yeah,
Our taxes will go up, right?
no.
if we have
Actually,
more wear and
It comes back to the towns and the county through the New York State Bridge and Culvert Program, or New York State CHIPS Program, which is a consolidated highway fund. That's how it comes back to the towns.
I'm sorry, say this again?
CHIPS and the New York State Bridge and Culvert Fund is how the towns get reimbursed for this. That's how we pave our roads and how we fix our bridges. Now, that's the system. New York State's already got this all set up.
So the towns aren't paying for that? The towns are not paying for road maintenance?
Well, they get the money from the
Reimbursed.
state, from the
We
CHIPS
get
money.
reimbursed by the state every
Same.
year.
We have a certain budget though every year?
Yes.
We can't exceed that budget.
Well,
I mean, we have a
depends on-
budget, and if we need more, I mean, we just don't have unlimited, oh, we need this to fix this road. They give us a certain amount, and if we need more than that.
It's
so
all
we
based
tip-
on, it's based on mileage, based on number of bridges, based on registered vehicles in the towns. There's a lot of inputs into what the formula turns out to be. And that's what we reimbursed.
So in that formula, would the number of trucks that are coming out of this mine, the fact that they're increasing it, would that go into
No.
the formula?
No.
Because
So
there's
we-
no
so we-
guarantee which way they're gonna go.
So we would
Exactly.
have no increase in our budget based on, I mean, we have a budget and it's not gonna be affected by whether the mine goes in or not.
Exactly.
So if we need more than our budget, where does the money come from? We just don't do it?
We either budget for it or we reallocate where we're working on our roads. It's a never-ending process, the maintenance we do on our roads.
And you would prioritize all the time, don't you?
Exactly, and it changes monthly. I mean, I have roads right now that I'm gonna do repair work on next year, but come spring, if something's changed through the winter, then things get shifted around, it's just,
How do you fix it? What do you use?
depends on what they need, I mean,
Do you use water or do you use?
oh, I know what you're getting at, I see. But as far as, I don't, to answer your question, they pay road tax, trucks pay road tax, and that's how the state collects taxes on trucks, and they trickle the money back down to the towns and the counties, and even the state gets some money back. So,
Oops. I got something.
Yeah, I was looking at this letter that we got September 9th, 2015 from the New York State Department of Transportation. And they suggested what we already have had done, accident analysis and that kind of thing. I wonder if it would behoove us to send the engineer's report to New York DOT and get their comments regarding it.
Yeah, I mean, the more input, the better, so it certainly wouldn't hurt. And as we talked about before the meeting too, we ought to send it to the county as well to complete their 239, even though I'm sure that they would send it right back and say that's our concern. I think just to be thorough and cover all of our bases, we ought to send it to them as well.
What does the rest of you think about sending it to the New York State DOT? You think that's necessary?
I think it can't hurt.
It's going to delay our decision.
Yeah, you don't know, by a month or two or
Right.
3 or 4. But if it shows that we've done more due diligence and gotten more expert opinion, that would be a plus on the plus side.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not required, but again, you know, you guys are free to do that if you feel like you need to.
Well, it kind of all boils down to how well we believe in our engineer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we believe every conclusion that he has come to, then there isn't many problems.
Right.
But has it been suggested that maybe he didn't do it thoroughly enough, and, you know, rather than hire another engineer, one safeguard would be to send it to the DOT and see what they...
Yeah.
Who's our contact? Who leads the DOT?
Riker?
Riker?
No, this was written by Carl Ford, professional engineer, regional director of transportation. I'm not sure that's the only letter we've gotten from them.
That is the only one.
Pardon?
That is the only one.
I was looking for when the information was sent to him to see how long it took him to respond, but I don't know when we sent it to him.
Do we all have a copy of the email from Ken Worsted from November 24th? Because I think a lot of these concerns that we're talking about, he addressed in this email. And this, I think, was in response to Mr. Cooper's comments that he sent in. And Mr. Worsted, attempted to address those comments. I don't know if he intends to supplement his report by putting an addendum on there with his comments. Probably a good idea.
If we send it to somewhere else for a couple other opinions.
No, I mean,
DOT or
I think Mr. Worsted should probably amend the report to include this, even if he just makes an addendum to it, add these comments into his report, as well as the comments received from Cooperus, Allinger, and Fitzgerald.
Oh, this is where I got the 4.4 times the statewide intersect average.
Is that in the email?
Yeah,
now?
it's in,
Yeah,
it's in this thing here, 4 times,
yes.
in that insert there.
There you got that.
Okay. Does anybody else have any,
What did we decide
Comments?
about sending it to the state?
I'm gonna send it to the state.
Well, I'd like to see what the rest of the board thinks.
And Cuba County Planning.
I think we ought to send it to planning. I mean, if the state is, it may delay the thing months and months. I don't know if anybody wants to do that. I think, I think it'd probably be going one step beyond where we need to be. I think we have all the data we need. Do we have a report? We have an expert that we hired to give us a report. We'd certainly be on solid ground taking the information that we have now and acting on it. But I would like to see the county review it as part of their 239 to close that loop.
With those, you said addendum, those letters they.
Yeah, I think
What
we should include those as well to the county.
the responses?
The three, my count is we have 3 sets of comments, or comments from 3 different residents. Right, Cooper's, Allinger, and Fitzgerald.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no others, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I would take those, and then, and as well as Mr. Worsted's responses, and package that up and send it over to the county,
Okay,
like ASAP.
sounds good to me. How about you? Are you
Yeah,
okay with
I'd be
that?
satisfied with
So
that.
what would be the result of that then? They would, what are you hoping to have in there? Will we do that before we have our public hearing, hear from them
Yeah,
before?
well, yeah, I
public
think,
hearing, or-
we ought to tell them, look, we have a public hearing scheduled, you guys did your 239. There's been some new information that might be relevant to your consideration, may or may not be. My hunch is that they'd probably just say, no, we've already looked at it, this doesn't change our review, this is the town's issue, but thank you very much, you know.
But we crossed our Ts and
Did
dotted.
they,
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
they say in their review that we should check with DOT? In the 239?
they,
Like
they had
recommendations or
concerns certainly about the safety of the road situation.
I can't remember. Do you have
I
a
think
copy
Lisa
of the
gave us a
230?
copy of that,
I did.
yeah.
It's on the very top.
And that's another thing that we should really discuss this evening.
Yeah.
Do you have it? Okay. Susan, do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right here. Additionally, the committee has issued the following comments. The intersection of Cuyahoga County Route 112 and New York State, what's Cuyahoga County Route 112?
It's Popel.
It's Popel Road.
And New York State Route 38, as well as New York State 38 and 104 may also have potential traffic safety issues. However, as New York State Department of Transportation has expressed their intention to address those concerns, the town should coordinate their review with that agency. So you're probably right, Vern, that
Didn't we already do that? Hasn't that been done?
yeah, what has DOT reviewed?
They didn't review that traffic study.
No, but they reviewed this 239, the 239 back in, what is this, May of 2015, says that it talks about the intersection of Cuyahoga County Road, Route 112 and Route 38. I'm pretty sure that was sent over to DOT already.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the letter of September 9th.
And this was dated May 21st.
Yeah.
The comments from the 239 was May 21st. And from the DOT was September 9th.
Yeah.
Do you think,
Yeah, I'm sorry, September 9th, DOT letter recommending accident analysis for the Marfell mine. So they recommended to do
The
what we
highway
just did.
study, yeah, the
So we
highway
did
study.
that.
And we did it.
So it's not, we don't have to do anything more, other than, like I said, send it to the county.
Okay.
We've already done what the county told us to do with respect to the DOT, which is do this study, right?
Yep.
So,
do you think it would be proper for us to ask the county if they wanted to change their opinion based upon this new information?
I think we should just present it to them as, you did your review, we have some additional information that, you,
Yeah, let them take the initiative.
and, to the extent you think it's relevant, let us know your comments. If you don't think it's something that the county is interested in addressing, then let us know that. In either case, let us know as soon as possible. Like in real world time, not county government time.
No.
Because this has gone on, obviously, a long time. We need to wrap it up.
When did they have 239? Do you know?
I don't know what the next one is.
Well,
But
it
they'll give it
is
to
what it is.
Johns have to, process it quickly. Because they'll talk amongst themselves, so I'll give them a call and I can send it out to them.
Yeah, very much.
That'd be good.
Good, that would be
Study.
good. Say ASAP was.
So,
Appreciate it.
as long as we're talking about the Cuba County 229 concerns, maybe if we just go through them and see how we complied. The first one was of the X-mile route from the mine to State Route 104, approximately 0.2 of a mile of Sanford Road, and Olive County Route 112, the Popo, lies within the jurisdictional boundary of the town of Victory. An approval of this project has the potential to adversely impact the road infrastructure of the town of Victory. And then we have been in contact, and I believe, Mr. Filito, you also indicated you were as well, with the town of Victory. And we do have
You
a
can
letter.
invite them to come too, right? Yeah, okay.
Right.
On June 29th, 2015. Dear Planning Board members, Christopher Ferreira of CJ Construction and I discussed the planned increase in truck traffic on the Town of Victory's portion of Sanford Road. He indicated willingness to post a road maintenance bond in the amount of $50,000 to remain in place for the life of the mining operation. He also stated his intent to work with the involved parties to mitigate problems that result from the operation. The posting of a maintenance bond is voluntary on Mr. Ferlito's part, and I feel it ensures adequate protection for that specific section of road. And this is Michael Wiggins, Supervisor, Town of Victory.
And that
So how would
addresses
that
that
be,
first time.
how would that be then? We'd have a $50,000 account that would get set up that,
The Town of Victory would establish a bond like we would have for a road preservation bond. So that would be there in the event that there was necessary to have it for maintenance.
so do we have a bond like that for Sterling?
The road preservation law takes care of that issue. And as a part of our site plan and our special permit, he is required to have this bond. If and when he gets his special permit, that will be taken care of with the town highway department.
Yes.
So we would have, how much of a bond would we have require?
We don't know until you give them a permit.
No, but what are you talking about?
There's a form in the road preservation law
Uh-huh.
that he has to abide by. It depends on how many trucks he runs, how many days a week he's running, what his hours are, and all that stuff is considered.
So wouldn't it be based on what's in his plan now? Why?
No, it'd be based on what he does. That's how the law is written.
So you wait till after the first year, and then you figure out what the bond's
No.
gonna be, or how do you figure
When
out what the
you
bond's
issue
gonna be?
his permit, he will fill out the paperwork, and then we'll figure out what his bond is gonna be, and that's what it'll be.
How come Victory's coming up with a number?
They don't have a law in place. I volunteered to do it. They don't have a preservation law right now. So
I guess I'm
again,
not familiar with this, the preservation or how that works. So you're saying you work after something, you don't require a bond up front, you wait till after it's been approved, and then you say, based on the number of trucks or da-da-da, we're gonna require this much of a bond.
Exactly.
And suppose it's like a $500,000 bond. He just has to live with it if you come up with that, or
Yes, he
and if
does.
he doesn't like it, he just says, well, I won't go forward with the permit. Is that, there's just one, that choice?
If he doesn't, yeah, if he doesn't,
You
once he
come up-
applies, if he doesn't wanna pay the bond, he can't use our highway.
Okay.
Part of getting the special permit is that he has to comply with the road preservation law. So,
That's on both the site plan too, isn't it?
okay. The design and alignment of Cayuga County Route 112 or Popple Road and Sanford Road and the configuration of their intersection creates traffic safety concerns with regard to site distances and turn radii. And that's been a conversation here on a number of occasions. Again, it's on Town of Victory Road, correct? That-
Cubic County.
Cuba County, correct, county highway road.
Yep.
Okay, and, unfortunately, the concerns for the, site distances is because there's some brush and things there, and because it's on personal property, private property, that would be something that would have to be addressed with the homeowner, or with the landowner. And I know in a conversation, may I say this?
Well, I've, since we've talked, I talked to George County, they've removed all the brush that's in the right of way already. So anything that has to be removed from there on, he's gonna
Okay.
get a hold of the landowners
Really?
and try to get permission to do some. He's not guaranteeing that they're gonna
Right,
be willing to do
right.
it, but if they're willing to do it, they're gonna remove some more brush further back.
And who removed it, Brian?
Cubic County Highway.
The county.
Oh, good, okay.
Which side of the road is it on, that the
Be
problem?
the southeast, I guess, of the intersection.
Oh,
So it's on property that's not owned by Mr. Fredo?
No, this is a long ways from the line. This is at the
Oh.
intersection of Popple and Sanford, I believe is what you're talking about right now, right?
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So where did that come in the discussion, the removal of vegetation? That wasn't one of their concerns, was it, or
The second bullet point,
design and alignment?
right, creates traffic safety concerns with regard to site distances and turn radii.
Okay, so the site distances are partly due to vegetation and partly due to elevation, or what's this?
I think it's,
mostly the brush part, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's because of the way the highway lays, the design of it, it goes around the bend and there's a bank there, and without taking the brush off the bank, you don't have a good line of sight up to the south on, towards Sand Hill Road.
And I think the engineer said that when you're on Popple Road coming, not from 38 but the other way, and going around that curve, if you saw a truck pulling out there, you would still would have enough distance to stop your car. That's a sight stopping distance.
Right.
But taking out some of the brush would even improve that
Would improve,
situation.
yeah, improve your visibility.
And then the third point was an increase in heavy commercial traffic of up to 100 trucks per day, meaning 10 trucks per hour or over a 10-hour period could result in significant and premature deterioration of County Route 12. And I think that's also included in that letter with the town of Victory.
Because of the posted bond?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so letter from Victory. Okay.
Then the other things had to do with the variances, which we went through that process with ZBA.
Right.
So, does everybody feel we addressed those concerns with the county?
Did you, how about the intersection, this is taken care of? Again, 112, this one down here?
Well,
Or they just
that
a
was,
comment?
that was also,
With
the issue with 38 and 104, which
Okay.
we've all discussed, and
Okay,
that the New York State Department of Transportation has expressed their intention to address those concerns.
okay, so that's taken care of, right?
And I'm
Okay.
sure that knocking down that Knoll.
Yeah. Okay, so then the variance, next one's the variance, I wish they had numbered the, and the variance, that's done, because we had that, we don't see the ZBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the next one? Oh, it's still having to do with the variance.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
much all
that's
about the
done.
variances.
Uh-huh, okay. Price 1,000. Oh, in the variance, that's still the variance, and we've covered that, and we have the letters for that,
Yes,
and the variances.
yes,
That's all in order.
yes. The second variance was denied, and that's when
Right.
he changed
And
his
then he changed the plan
phase 1A and later.
and, okay.
So what are the two variances on record then that have been approved?
Just one was approved for the,
Yeah, the setback between the access road and existing residences was granted. The variance for setback between the mining operation and existing structures was denied.
Okay, so they granted the variance between the access road and the nearest house.
Yeah, and they
But
rewrote
not
that one.
between-
And
Not
they,
between the mining
because
operations.
he decided to change the entrance to try to make it a safer.
went to one
Entrance and
access
exit.
instead of the
That's the
two,
one
and they
with the
reheard
courthouse.
that, the CBA reheard it, and they granted it again with a modification because of the single access.
So this is the one,
This is the one we went to court on, that we litigated and came out in our favor. The other one that was denied was addressed by Mr. Polito, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we good with those
So,
Huber
Huber County
County?
planning is, yep,
concerns?
and we have the documentation and everything we need to put along with that. Okay,
Okay. Site plan review, we started the process back in November 2015. And Lisa's provided us with the minutes of that meeting where we actually went through the site plan and our land use regulations, and we actually went through the checklist to make sure that the application provided us with everything that was pertinent for our site plan review.
I'm sorry, where, are you going to this, are you going to Madelia? What are we doing?
I'm just doing my own little thing here.
if you look on, did you get,
Yeah, she got one.
my hand scratching of of everything we have to cover?
Yeah, just now, when we first came in.
We gotta do site plan, well, site plan in, the special use permit checklist, those are, but we did the site plan. And that's what she said, that we have the notes in the meeting. Lisa gave it to us.
So you're just pointing out that during one of our previous meetings, we did a lot of the work we needed to do on the site plan.
Yeah.
We had the maps and the application in front of us.
Did we actually vote and,
No, we didn't vote
No.
on it. The traffic study was,
they had to be waiting for that, okay.
do you want to hand that down to Susan?
Did.
And actually, we're gonna combine it anyway, so that was just part of the process.
So are we doing a site plan review tonight?
We went through the site plan
Yeah, I
review.
did that.
We don't need to do that again.
There's the minutes of the meeting when we went through the site plan.
So we're not doing any more site plan review?
No,
That was done?
we completed that.
And what was the result of it?
The results are here on the minutes.
But was it,
We didn't vote.
No, there was no vote. The public hearing process is going to be site plan and special permit. We did the site plan part of it. So the next part of it will be reopening the public hearing, because we didn't close it, for the special permit process.
so you're saying that the site plan, I've never done site plan review, but it's, was there a recommendation that came out of the site plan review, a conclusion, or anything?
No,
There wasn't a vote, there wasn't a motion made, because it's,
no, there was no vote.
So we're going to do that at the public hearing, we're going to vote on, do we
That-
approve the site plan?
It'll be a total process of approving site plan and special permit. It's a combination, okay? But we did go through the site plan, we went through our checklist and the requirements, and all of the letters correspond to our land use regulations.
Okay, so when we say things like, okay, looking at the review, on this number E here, SWPPP narrative dated needs addendum of new phasing and other updated information to match project narrative. Has that been done?
Right, that was yes, it has been. And it was after that meeting. I almost think our attorney as well, I'm not sure, but I said, if you're gonna change the phasing of it, that better be in your narrative, and he did update it.
He did
There
update
was
the
a-
narrative.
Yep.
And,
So do we have a copy of the updated narrative here?
yeah,
it's 2 pages.
yep. I found mine anyway. It was dated, July 15th. 2015, right here?
This is when we moved the area outside the 1,000 feet of all surrounding residences, revised site plan, I have it right here.
Who's the same?
Because the original site plan had various phases, so this would now just be.
Newest.
This is
July
what we
15th.
received July, this is July 15,
Yep.
2015.
Yeah.
Mind use clarification submitted by the DEC. This, if you want to read through it, it's all right here. Actually, everything that we've done, this is 2,500 pages of information. Remember we put this together for court? So everything that was done, I've got right here.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you need to refer to the document, I have that, and I also have the index with the dates and everything, so, and page number references. So, if you want to move this, you can.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
actually,
just reading.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Susan, I've got
hard
3
copy?
copies down here, but they all have my handwriting in it, but you're used to seeing
Oh,
that.
that's fine.
But, so you can keep that, there you go,
There you
that's
go.
what it looked like right there
Excuse
when he
me.
updated it. So I just stuck it in the land use plan.
So that we now have a document which has the narrative with this in it.
Attached to it.
It's an
As an
attachment.
attachment.
Yes.
Now,
Okay,
are
so-
all these phases outside of the 1,000 feet thing, or is it just phase one?
Just phase 1A,
1A.
so you're looking at 5.5 acres.
And does your permit,
Well, then why would it, shouldn't that be what the addendum says? Why does it have all these other phases in it?
because
That-
that,
The way it started before
But
the
that's all we're
ZBA said,
that's all we're giving a permit for, is this one,
yes.
if we
Yes.
do it, and so
But-
why would all these others?
He has a DEC permit for the
I
entire acreage, 38 point,
Yeah.
but our special permit is only going for 5.5 acres
And that's
for the
phase
1A section.
area.
And his mind land use plan here is his mind use plan for the whole thing, which he had to do, I'm assuming,
For
for
DEC.
his permit, for the, yeah. He had to show him the whole plan for 20 years and a perfect, this way I do. But we're doing the 1A only. At this point.
But it still says the remaining phase will be mined sequentially according to the revised phasing plan.
But it also says,
that commentary is on his original request of permit. So it doesn't, see what I mean?
I thought we were supposed to change the narrative to show that it was only gonna be for 5.5 acres.
That's what will go in the issuing of a special permit, if we do that.
Right.
We will specify that. DEC said you could do all this. ZBA said you gotta keep 1,000 feet or more away from the structures, and the only thing that qualified was this 1A.
So the permit would say you can only do it in phase one.
and if you
Yeah.
read,
Oh, yeah.
if you read the paragraph above it, Susan, it kind of clarifies.
Well, just as the order of mining phases has been changed to commencement of mining areas more than 1,000 feet, it looks like it's planning to do all the rest.
Well, but it says
Which
mining
is
will
what?
not proceed within 1,000 feet of any such structure unless approved by the local government is first obtained. See?
I can mine phase one and phase two. That's outside the 1,000 feet. 3 and 4 I can't do, unless I go back to the ZBA.
So phase one and phase two is what you're saying. They were saying, we thought it was just phase 1A. See, that's why this is confusing to me. Where to say
Straight on the map,
specifically.
There's a map.
Circle drawn out on it to show it outside 1,000 feet.
See this map here that you really can't see, can you? Let's try to enlarge it. The map, do you have a copy of that map with the concentric circles on it? That's the map, right, Chris?
Yeah, you got it, yeah. That's what got approved from the ZBA.
Right.
So we can. Well, we better get it cleared up if
So
this is
these-
gonna be 1A.
Yeah, we
Circles
got it.
are these 1,000 feet from all existing
Right.
homes. So phase 1B and 1A,
Right?
which 1B?
I mean, technically, there's a little section in phase 4. where it's split.
2.
Can you give me a couple more of these?
We're gonna get that cleared up.
That final map, this is the only one that I have.
This one,
See, here's phase 2.
And where is the road?
Here's
to
1A,
that?
yeah.
The different departments.
Phase 1A.
Oh,
Phase
yeah.
1B.
Okay,
There's the old road,
it's a nice
there's the
map.
new one.
Didn't get me into your extra 1,000, you said.
Right? No, Burley.
Really, that's right.
is is it the same map as this one?
Yeah, oh, so there's one of them.
All right, so is your thinking for this special use permit that we're working on right now, you're thinking it's for,
Anything outside of 1,000 feet, anything outside these radius, so it's phase 1, phase 2. I mean, it's not gonna specify a phase, right? It's gonna say anything within the
Well, that's
mine,
where-
life of mine, that doesn't encroach upon the 1,000 foot. That's all.
okay,
That'd be the simplest way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
that's how it should read, in my opinion.
Yep,
I mean,
all
that'd
right,
be the
well, this
easiest.
is clearing up it's a good point, because I wasn't thinking that, but,
I mean, right now, I have a bond for
Yeah.
phase 1B right here,
Okay,
okay?
yeah.
To do this. So I can't move, and this has nothing to do with you, this is DEC.
Yeah.
I can't go to phase 2 until I either finish phase 1 or I bond this whole thing, get a reclamation.
okay,
I
and
mean,
that's
then
on your
again, that has
permit,
nothing to do.
that's a condition, or it's on that
That's the
permit, right?
DEC deal, yeah.
All right. So what would our wording be?
That he would
Anything?
have a special permit to mine anything beyond 1,000 feet
Yeah.
of any structure.
Right.
There.
I'm on the clock for my services.
So we,
So that's good, clear, good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So that would be in the wording of it. Okay.
all messed up.
Oh, is that off? That's good. Okay,
So, excuse me, under P, it says signage for direction of traffic, speed, or other is at the discretion and authority of New York State DOT. The thing with direction of traffic, we say all the traffic's gonna come out and go south. We already said we can't control that, you don't know, you can't control the truck drivers, they may decide to go north. So
Well,
what-
I'm gonna put, I mean, from the sounds of tonight's meeting, it sounds like they'd be better off going right and avoiding that intersection, right?
I would almost think so, I don't know why, to be
I
honest,
don't
I
wanna
can't
go
remember
there.
how we came up to just going
Truck
south.
drivers are not gonna turn
Because it's a
right.
hamlet.
There's gonna be a sign,
because they didn't want it to go through the north
It's gonna go
victory.
through the hamlet anyway when they.
And the viewing distance and all that
Because the
is,
town of Sterling's not gonna allow him to go to the right, that's why he didn't go to the right. As part of his road preservation, because we're not gonna let him make that turn
Right.
onto 104 off from Sanford Road to the left, to go back to 38.
You're not gonna, for what reason now?
because it'll tear the road up.
Because it's gonna tear
Turn
the
left.
road up.
It's like a, you
Tearing left?
know, it's like a Y there, so you can't,
Right.
it would tear the road up.
That's from 38 to 104. I
No,
thought,
that's
no,
Sanford.
it's going up here. If you turned out of here and went north, you
Right.
eventually come to another intersection like that.
oh, if you had to make a
No way.
left, it would be too hard to make a left off
Yeah,
Sanford, is what you're
I'm
saying.
guessing that's probably what, a 22-degree angle there.
Yeah.
So that's worse than this one here?
No, it's not as severe as that one, but
But
it's
at least
still.
you can cut, on this one, you can cut over on the,
I mean, the most logical
that
thing to do,
thing.
if you're gonna go to Oswego, you make a right, and then you get right on 104.
Yeah,
But they didn't want me to go that way, so
so, and so
now
that's,
everything's gotta go left and back around, and then we're back to the issue 104.
So there will be signage,
There will be signs coming out of the exit of the gravel bed, no right turn.
all trucks required to go left or whatever. You know,
so what
whatever
happens
the
if they
verbiage
start
is.
ignoring that and they all start going north? What, I mean,
Well,
I'm pretty sure one of the neighbors will be calling me,
Yeah.
and then I'll be taking care of it.
so who's the person that's gonna go,
Ryan,
Whoever the highway superintendent is at the time.
not the code enforcement, that's what I'm saying, who enforces that is what I'm not sure about.
well,
That
then
would
that's
be the
when
road, it's-
They're making
the
wrong turns. The high-
police get involved. You know, they get tickets for
Yeah, for doing what they're not supposed to, and we certainly
they're
have,
disobeying the law.
yeah. So there's, recourse there. If some of these trucks are gonna say, well, I'm not gonna do that. Well, you are too, because there's gonna have a trooper or something.
No, the highway superintendent would revoke your permit.
yeah, yeah.
Say that again?
the town could revoke his permit.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
That's,
but you're not
that's
doing
the
it.
end result.
Yeah,
If
it's,
somebody calls up and says, hey, you know,
yeah,
they're all going to the right,
yep. Say, hey, that
somebody's
wasn't
gonna have
part
to
of
go
the
over and visually
agreement.
see it and then call him in and Randy can revoke his permit.
Mhm.
Or the town supervisor at the time, or it might be.
Okay. Okay, so, site plans done, okay, or I mean, yeah. Make sure we can catch everything else here. Well, what do you got next on your list?
Same thing you do, special permit.
Special use permit checklist. Uh,
This is your special.
It is?
Yes,
Oh.
you're the checklist queen.
Oh, I'm the checklist queen. Do you want to do this now then?
We could do this, although, I would think we're gonna do it at the public meeting when you guys are ready to vote, right? Walk through the factors and vote, I mean,
Decision criteria.
yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
But you can go through it now,
What the criteria is, if we could just summarize, what is our criteria for making a decision?
You have copies.
Yeah, I gave it to you, Susan, that
Mhm.
packet that just came down to you. It looks like this.
Just here.
And you know, on my own time, I've gone through this, I don't know, 4
It goes through
times
all the
Right,
factors.
okay.
over the
We can
last
have-
couple of
I
years
have-
or whatever.
I have my big Bible here. If you want, by the way, if you want a copy of this, I can give you this too. If you're bored and you want to.
She's not going, so.
Yeah. But in the event, you know, there's a document, maybe that, you know, this has been going on for a long time, that,
Yeah, lose track of, it's been
Yeah,
so long, then you
right.
can't remember what did we do. in
but the
this.
beauty of this is
What
that
is
this is what I prepared for the judge when we went to court. This is an index of all those 2,500 pages that we, and everything there we looked at, we reviewed, the planning board 1,000 times. So this is in chronological order, and it has all the documents. So if there's something that comes up that you want to look at, you can find it here by date or by reference to or from, and then it references a page number here. And that big fat 2,500 page document that I have, it's all stamped, so that you'll be able to go right to that. I can make copies of this for the board. It may
I
be
have
helpful.
that.
Yeah,
I
you
have
have
the
it.
index.
Yeah, so,
Do you have the 2,500 page document?
yeah.
I mean, how do you,
Somewhere, not with me right now.
do you look it
Lisa's
up
got
online?
3
Is there a
buckets
way
of
to
stuff.
just?
Somewhere we have a paper copy, I'm sure here, right?
Oh,
Lisa has it.
But I have this electronic copy, which, if
Right.
somebody's got a thumb drive or something here,
that.
I could just copy, I could
That might be
copy.
the easiest thing.
I
Yeah,
don't have one with me.
I have, I might have one that I can.
I got most of it right here.
I don't know.
It's got it so well organized, though. I mean,
Yeah, it
that's a
really does
nice
help.
way
Well, I
to-
do it by date.
Yeah,
Okay, well, go over the date.
whatever works, yeah, whatever.
That replaces this.
I think I
Well, is
have
there
it.
any advantage
Just
to
the thumb
looking
drive,
at
I give you a
it,
copy.
really the main thing, or wait till the hearing?
No, he has a point there. We're gonna go through it at the public hearing. We might as well wait till then.
You know, and I think if we go through all the other extraneous things and make sure we get
Right.
everything covered, that we would have just basically this to do, because we know we've done the other stuff and we've had it to study.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
does
fair
that make
enough.
sense?
That's fair
I'm
enough.
sorry, what'd you say, Sue?
I'm just thinking if the special use permit, like I've done it on my time,
Uh-huh.
several times, and I think June has gone over it. But I mean, if we look through all the other extraneous things, anything that's on here to find holes, if there's any, we can do this special use permit, because it has a lot to do with all this stuff we have here. And we can do that at the hearing.
Okay.
Do we have
So-
anybody else on the agenda at the next meeting? Do you know?
There's one man, George Allen, who might have a minor subdivision. He's not sure if he's gonna come in.
Okay.
That's the only people that are showing. up.
Okay, so it'd be just for,
I have some paperwork for the SUP permit for Good Stop. But they're not gonna be here for it. They just sent me some paperwork.
okay,
That's it.
okay. All right, so then we have time to do this. Okay, all right. Well then, what else would you like to work with?
Well,
The seeker review has been completed by the lead agency, the DEC.
Right?
So
Yep.
that's sufficient to
Yep.
take care of that
Yep,
process.
that's all set. Check that box.
Okay.
Try to
Um,
copy this.
Yeah, that's the final one? Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be, does yours end at page 19 and page,
Yes.
yep, okay. 12/21/15 it goes through?
No, 10/30/15.
Oh, yeah, mine, I might have there might be this might be a more, a revised version, yeah. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
I don't know when to, got, with the special use, any conditions that we want. I don't know when the optimal time is to do that.
Well-
Or to bring those thoughts up.
To the extent that we
And the
haven't,
comprehensive plan, you know, how
Yeah.
we have to go by that, and I've found some things that would fit in there, so I don't know, those are,
well,
When you vote on the special permit, do you vote on it with the conditions already established?
I
Or
would
do you do
assume
it
it
in
has to
the-
be all in
All right, so
place.
that has to be all part of the
Right.
proposal. The
Mhm.
proposal is special permit with these conditions,
Yes,
and then we vote on
yes.
that. Do the
I
criteria.
have a number of proposed conditions here,
Good.
but I'd like you to review it to see if there's any reason, they're pretty severe. Is there any reason, if the board agrees to them, they couldn't be part of the permit?
just, can I get a copy of this and then I'll review it? When's our meeting?
December 5th.
December 5th. It's on my calendar already. I just don't have it in front of me. I'll just take a copy of this with me and then review it, and then, before that next meeting, if I have any questions or concerns, I'll get in touch with you, all right?
You think I should get
Should we review it?
copies to,
Yeah, yeah.
or read through it now? I don't care.
Yeah, you could,
Good, because maybe there's some that I have too, because I have some down,
Okay.
and I think June has some thoughts.
All right, let me just read through these. Production at the mine may not begin until all Town of Sterling, Town of Victory, Cuyahoga County, and New York State road safety and speed limit signs are installed on Sanford Road, Pope Road, and adjacent roads as specified by the involved agencies.
Can I stop you right there? Like they said, like Brian said, it could be 3 years before the signs are,
And they might not change the speed limit.
they might not change it, so I don't know how you would, are there any of those?
So we have to assume when we vote that it's gonna be 55 miles an hour.
Until, and if the DOT wants to change them.
yeah. But
So
that's
But there's no
something,
guarantee they're gonna change it, so.
since it's something that we can't control, it shouldn't be part of our review, consideration.
then we
Well-
can't-
Well, some of these could be.
We
Yeah,
can,
some of them, but not,
we can,
Yeah, whatever.
maybe not speed limit, but certainly, we've already discussed the signage
yeah.
for, at the truck exit and entrance, for trucks turning left. And then, if there could be just some kind of like a warning sign or a sign indicating there's
There'll
a
be a truck.
big truck?
There'll be a truck entrance sign on
Okay.
Sanford Road, coming from the north and from the south, if the permit is issued.
Okay.
And that's something we can do
And
without
that's-
New York State.
Yes.
And that's something that you would add to that, or,
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I mean,
'cause that would
just-
have to be done.
just Ideas.
Yeah,
No,
no,
that's
that's
good.
good, no,
That's
no.
Production at the mine may not begin until the recommendations found in the conclusions section of the Creighton Manning November 1st, 2016 report are completed.
Now, what recommendations particularly were you?
That was at the end of their,
Yeah, they have the conclusion in that, in there. Did you see the highway thing? The highway study that you paid for?
I didn't read it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, Brian had it,
I
did
didn't
you?
read it in detail as you guys did.
Did you get to the
but I
conclusion?
did see it.
But it- once again, in the conclusions, isn't it that all the brush is gonna be cut and all that stuff? Because once again, that's out of your control. The county might not cut any more brush. They might not improve the sight line on that intersection.
well, if I was Mr. Polito, I'd do all in my
But he
power
can't do it if it's someone
But he
else's
can't.
property.
to get them to do it.
But you can't do it if it's on private property. That's why the county has done what they could do so far.
They did it, so to get it started.
And if somebody's willing to let them cut brush on their property, they'll do more, but.
But that's why he needs to buy up all the property. That would make it a lot simpler.
Why don't you buy the property? I'll vote for it.
How about this one? All
Okay.
DEC and Town of Sterling regulations and requirements must be complied with and will be inserted by the town code enforcement officer on at least a quarterly basis, and a report given to the town planning board regarding any violations and corrective action taken. So we make it clear who's
That's-
doing.
That's just, that sounds like what Trump says. We've got laws now, we're gonna enforce them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty self, I mean, that.
The quarterly basis thing is different. I mean, we have an annual review right now, I think, in our land use regulations, that has to be reviewed annually, the conditions of the permit or whatever, okay?
And that's our CEO
Right.
Yeah.
would quarterly.
In the
Or
annual-
at least, or, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the annual review actually is
Yeah.
for the restoration part of it,
Mhm.
to make sure that the restoration process is going. But certainly, I mean, the CEO works on complaints, so
Yeah.
Restoration as far as what?
The reclamation plan.
reclamation, I used the wrong word, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think,
So the permit itself is not reviewed, it's I'm getting that confused with PDDs. The
Right.
PDDs are reviewed on any
Right.
basis, but for a special permit, it does not get reviewed.
Right.
So this would be an additional condition then, if you wanted to review the conditions of to ensure that the special conditions are being met, reviewed on an annual
But-
basis, is what you're saying.
yeah, but our code enforcement officer should be doing that anyway. You know?
Right.
And he'll do that the same with Mr. Filito as he does for Dr. Fischera, as he does for anybody else. He or she, whoever that individual may be.
Yeah. So, okay.
Copies of reports and other documents received by the operator from New York State DEC and other involved agencies will be given to the town planning board within 30 days of receipt.
Oh, I have that one too.
If any stipulations of the mining permit dated 9/8/2016 are found not to be complied with, this special permit may be revoked. I mean, again, that's boilerplate, but
No, I mean, it's, you know, we,
I'm just trying to help
Emphasize.
satisfy.
Yep,
look at you doing what we're supposed to do. We're gonna follow the laws, we're gonna enforce them.
Yeah.
There's certainly, nobody can complain about that.
right. Yeah, I had requests to be copied on all notifications that the minder, that Chris gets. I have that.
Why don't you get copies of that for the whole board as well as this one? And then we'll combine them when we have our,
Yeah, maybe I'll get this, well, he's got it now, but
I
you'll
don't
see it
have
on my,
That's the
this is the
one.
only copy I have right here.
oh, okay. That's yours, is that yours? That's them? I got a few more.
I think earlier in another meeting, we talked about the test borings
Mm-hmm.
for the water. And somebody had, maybe it was even Vern, had asked if it was something, information that you could provide for us, the results of the test borings. And you said, well, normally you don't have to do that, but you indicated you would be willing to.
Yeah, that's fine, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure, but request notification on your yearly, is it DEC that checks you? The DEC condition follow-up? Is it DEC permit
Thank you.
you had?
They usually make a site visit every year.
Every
They make a
year.
Site visit, but they can come at any time,
Okay,
so.
so I would like the planning board to, and be copied on that too. I mean, that might,
There's really, they just come out and they'll ask for me, we'll walk the property and they make sure I'm within the mine boundaries. I guess I'd have to request a formal letter to be sent to you, if that's what you wanted. but
yeah, I would, I really would. It's just one more thing in that covers, it's, a copy that says, yes, we went there, everything is hunky-dory.
So
Or not.
it would be the DEC review that would say
Is
that
it
he was
DEC
within the
that
1,000?
That you got your permit,
Yeah,
and they
that's
come
their
through
job.
yearly,
That's-
and they can come
But
in
wait a
anytime.
second, they've approved the whole life of mine, not the 1,000-foot thing. Who's gonna check to make sure he's within the 1,000 feet?
Within
You
the,
are, the town.
So
That's,
that's something the code enforcement
Yeah,
officer would
that's
do.
correct.
So add to that a check, the code enforcement officer needs to check.
Well, that's what this says.
and that's what we said, we wanted to be copied on everything. Maybe if the attorney sees, he can, bring them together.
Yeah.
And say, oh, that's Julius, blah, blah, blah. Is that okay?
And I'm sure the top, they have the right to come in and inspect at any time too. It's not
Who?
like you guys,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
town,
yeah, mm-hmm.
to make sure I'm in compliance.
And I just have refer to condition number 2 must be attached to the DEC permit conditions, which sometimes I don't know what I put down here. But I think just to make sure to reiterate and double whatever the DEC permit conditions are, we want to make sure you go by those, which the DEC, does that make sense?
Yeah, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have no condition, my conditions are what the DEC is.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah, so, Town of Sterling continued oversight yearly review, which we've talked about that already. Signs, we talked about that, we wanted specific signs.
And the striping.
And the striping, that one, okay. Test boring, we're gonna get results from that. I have, test boring copies of those results. Saturday operations,
Well, that's
double down on
that's
the
part of our,
residential.
the special permit, requirements under the mining, part of it. And yes, there are some hours of operation. And
I
that's,
just wanted to
That-
reiterate
Can
that.
Those-
yes, that's gonna be
Our,
staple for me.
yeah, the section J, of our, mining section states,
Yep.
hours of operation will be 7 AM to 5 PM, Monday through Friday. Saturday, will be limited to residential deliveries
Okay.
paying for.
I'm sorry, what's the salary for? What does that mean, residential deliveries?
Yeah, that's not really clear. What did we I know we talked about this before.
I would say, my thought with this is like going to Brian's house on Saturday instead of going to a commercial operation,
So how do we
Working on
know if
roads
the
or
truck
whatever.
leaves that it's going to a
you
residential?
gotta follow them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so how's that going to be enforced?
Well,
Could we say
It's-
no Saturday operations?
I think what that interpretation
because
means
it says it.
It says,
is no processing,
right,
okay? So they'll be delivered, because there's no way you're gonna follow, that's not feasible.
Right, if
Right?
you can't
I mean,
enforce
honestly,
it.
You're
that's
gonna
not
follow me if I decide to keep driving to Binghamton or something? I mean, at what point you're gonna turn around, So I think what that means is no processing, no running the screening plants,
Mm-hmm.
I would agree that that's what it says.
Okay,
Yeah, no processing, no, because elsewhere in the section it refers to mining or excavation operation. But this says only, the only operations that are gonna occur on Saturday during those hours are deliveries, residential deliveries.
No mining,
No,
no
mi-
actual
no,
mining.
yeah.
Now, just as a point of interest, could we, if we wanted to, I'm not saying we wouldn't do this, if we wanted to put a condition that said no Saturday operation, can we be more stringent than what's in there?
The following conditions must be met. The way that our law is written, it says that this must be
At a
met.
minimum,
At a
but we
minimum.
could require, if we wanted to, no Saturday operation.
We could, but it would have to be reasonable. It would have to be, tied to some purpose, some rational basis to it.
See, that's something to look at again when we redo the land use regulations, to look at that and say, well, maybe we should, but,
Well,
because that's what it
this
says
is in a
in there
residential
now.
area and people are home on Saturdays. I
Right.
mean, I think the thought was when this was written, it's gonna be away from where people are living.
Well, I don't know, I
There's
think
a lot
that
of
could
farms
be,
around there.
What?
There's a lot of farms.
the farm on Saturday and Sunday.
I
Farmers
never
work
had an
7
issue
days a
with
week, I mean, I would just request, I wouldn't ask to process, I can understand that. It'd be nice if Brian or Steve called for a load of gravel and we were able to deliver it on Saturday. That's when people are home, sometimes they wanna fix their
I
drive.
mean, the fact that our laws are written that way
Mhm.
obviously means that the anticipated residence is being within a delivery zone there. So I would have to say that,
We could say local residences or something, so they're not going on. So it's just to benefit local town of Sterling
yeah, and then it says no operating on Sundays or holidays, period.
right. On the striping of the road. Yeah, I guess that was my thoughts on.
One big concern of residents is the number of trucks. Because that's part of what's making this an issue. If it was 1 truck a day or 5 trucks a day, I don't think there would be as much, it would not be issue. Can we, in the conditions, limit the number of trucks?
That's what I say there.
Oh, I didn't see that.
But I don't know what,
You said per calendar month, but I mean, if we did it per day.
well,
So if we said, to start out with, say we want no more than 5 trucks a day or something
Oh,
like
I
that.
don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know if that would work. That's gonna be cutting into the commercial, the purpose of the whole operation.
yeah, that's why I said
We'd
per
agree.
month.
We'd
That
end
way you
up,
have a high and a low,
yeah.
Who's gonna count per month?
Yeah, no.
The
I think
neighbors?
that- No, I
Well,
think
I'm
per
sure
day
they
is a
will,
better
but
thing.
their word against mine though too. I guess they gotta videotape it.
But it is something we could do as a condition, to limit the number of trucks.
I don't know if we can limit what he's doing there. Can grant him the permit or deny it. I mean, you can limit certain things, but certainly not cut into his business, the purpose of it. Otherwise, you'd end up back in court.
DEC didn't address that, did they?
I don't
Yeah,
believe.
the number of trucks,
Yeah,
there's a number of trucks per hour, 10 trucks per hour.
that's what DEC came
That's
up
what
with?
DEC, yeah, that's the max.
Yeah, that's what your
That's what it
permit.
states in the permit.
Yeah,
So he's gonna have to
so
abide
he's
by
gonna
that.
operate.
No, but that's what he put in as his maximum. That was already in his proposal.
That's what they approved
And they
for the
approved
max.
that.
Right.
They approved that maximum.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
can only do what equipment you've got to work with to
To
take
do
care
that
of them too,
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if the DEC's giving them the right to use 10, what is it, 10
10 per hour.
per hour? I mean, we're going beyond our jurisdiction if we start limiting.
Okay, so we
It could
can
be
do
challenged, I
that.
would assume. Are we done with conditions, at least talking about them. The comprehensive plan, you know, we have to abide by the comprehensive plan. Do we have to say, oh, yes, we are, on page 56, 58, do you have to document it or just say, no, we're abiding by the comprehensive plan?
We should walk through and you've got it listed here, I see page 56, 58, 51, 48.
Yeah.
I think, you just have to make sure that we've reviewed the comprehensive plan and that this is consistent with that, generally speaking. So,
Okay.
you don't have to go through point by point, but everybody's gonna have to, acknowledge that it's consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Okay, because yep, I was on the comprehensive planning committee, but I
Yeah.
looked at and went through the thing, and these
Well,
are the
that's-
ones that seem to fit.
Yeah, that's good that you were on that committee. That's a good resource for the planning board,
Yeah.
to have you here, and so if there's
And
questions.
Vern too, Vern was
too.
on it, Vern was on
That's
it.
great.
I was too, and so.
Oh.
Oh, that's right, Susan, you were.
So you're all intimately familiar with the comprehensive plan?
Yep.
I just went over it with Lisa to correct the spelling, it's not,
Correct the spelling in the comprehensive plan?
I wasn't involved in the development of it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the right word.
Okay.
All right,
You got anything else you
um,
think we should discuss?
the DEC permit and the conditions, it's all we're set with that. Yes.
Yeah, you have a copy of
We
it.
have not-
I'm just saying, yes, all right, that's all still pertinent and everything is still in force right now. When I was going through all my plans, and we just did talk about the addendum where we changed you updated from phase 1A and all that. I have this mind land use plan, April 2015. Is that your newest, is that the latest one?
Yes.
At least you probably can answer better than me, I have no idea.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because and the stormwater control plan, that's June 2014.
Yep,
That's
that's
the latest.
That's never changed.
All right, and is there another section of plan?
Just the 2 pages.
Okay, all right.
July.
So this is the latest, okay. All right. With this, and the latest maps. Let me see, updated narratives. That was it. Okay. So we still have the special use permit checklist to do, a comprehensive plan, we talked about that, formulate conditions, we did that, land use regulations, let's see, site plan review. Just pardon me, I'm going through, this is what I've gone through. Special use review point by point, which we will do. And the comprehensive plan, yeah, I think that's everything I had in here. How about you, Kevin? You got your thoughts about?
I think we covered it.
We'll come prepared at the hearing to go through the special use permit,
Yeah.
part of our land use regulations.
Yeah, and we're gonna send that over to the county and as soon as possible. I looked at, when they did their initial review, it took them, I think less than a month, it took them a couple weeks to do that. So if we
Depends
ask
on
for an
when the meetings
expedited
are.
review, we could probably get it back within a week.
You won't have that Monday though. You're not gonna vote Monday.
No.
It's tomorrow,
I don't know if
Wednesday.
we'll hear back by Monday.
Maybe
I
we,
mean, why should we wait for their response before we vote? I mean, unless you think if they come back negative, that they still shouldn't do it? Or, I mean, what's?
yeah.
Like, could we
You think we
vote?
should wait to vote until we hear?
Yeah, or just say,
Or use that as,
sort
or
of.
use that as a backup for the decision?
I think if the scheduled for the 5th, I think
Yes,
at this point, we have everything we need to make a decision. Would that be another step we could take? Yeah. Is it necessary? No.
What if they send it back and they have an issue with it though? Now you requested something and then you already voted on it.
Well, we're just asking them to review it. If they do come back with something,
Well, tell them to let us know before the 5th.
yeah. Just say, you know, this has been for 2 years, blah, blah, blah.
For years now, we're giving you a week.
Yeah. So what, there's no holiday. What is this,
Just right
Tuesday?
before a holiday.
It's Tuesday, Wednesday, that you could
Probably still on vacation.
overnight it.
I'm gonna write it tomorrow, I'll
Or
call
whatever,
John.
and say, just please, you know, please, you know. Just review it,
even
it's
if
just
you
one
just
more.
send it to John Zepko and
Yeah.
not to the 229.
Right.
Just, yeah.
Chances are we won't catch them when
Just,
they're.
just tell them it's
so-
supplement, it's information, new information.
Yes.
You did your review, here's some additional information. If you have any concerns, let us know before the 5th.
Yeah,
That's our meeting.
Okay.
Susan, do you have any other thoughts? Brian?
I guess not. I wrote down a whole bunch of little things here that
go for it.
were
Vern.
brought up by the people, and
Yeah.
I don't know, I think we ought to at least acknowledge what was received and what happened regarding it.
Okay.
For example, Red Creek School,
Mm-hmm,
never heard back.
never
from them.
heard, they've never come.
What did we want them to come as?
Oh, they had concerns with school buses,
Yeah.
I think. And we never heard anything back, right?
What did we send them? What did we send them a request or a reason?
Yeah, we had sent them, I think actually Leslie sent it. Or, trying to remember the letter, I don't have a copy of it, it was an email. Let's see if I can get it. But I talked to him on the phone. I don't have that.
And they knew of our public
I know
hearings.
that we send notices every time we send out, letters. We never heard back.
And we discussed
In the town
about
of Victory,
buses and trucks.
yes.
Brian
Yes.
said the truck is wider than the bus,
Right.
so there shouldn't be a problem there. Fairhaven, we wrote to them also,
Yes.
never heard
Never heard
back.
anything back from Fairhaven? No.
Senator Nazilois and Assembly Bob Oakes, they wrote to, we never heard from them.
No.
Hannibal mine permit denied, we knew that. Property values, that's part of the comprehensive plan evaluation. Tree cutting, historic preservation of the one house. We got a letter back
We got a letter
saying
back.
that would not,
That's not an issue.
not an issue. I think those are the minor things that I had.
Wildlife or anything like that, there's nothing that came back.
Cutting of the trees, I already mentioned that.
What about the cutting of the trees? What was that?
There was statements made by some of the public that tree cutting was going on and it shouldn't be. Shouldn't happen because the,
Or tree cutting on the mine property
yeah,
in preparation for mining, in other words? Or
I don't know whether it was.
why should they not be cutting trees?
Because of the bats, but it's already, we've already been
Oh,
down
that was
road.
covered in some letter too, that it's not, is there
Yeah.
seasonal or something?
Army Corps of Engineers came out, the lady from New York City came out, DEC's been there several times. There's a certain time of year you can cut trees because of the bat population.
Oh.
But we addressed it and we looked into it and the letter came back, it's not an issue.
I think that's all, but I think everything else should be covered under the comprehensive plan.
Because the secret all went through, they went through that.
I
with
just
the
want them
public
to know that we've addressed everything that they
Yes.
sent to us.
comment. Yes.
And yeah, and plus these communications that you're talking about, they went to, not only to us, but they also went to these other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Fitzgerald has been very diligent about emailing all of these things to all these entities. So they've all reviewed all this information that we've had.
Right.
And if we didn't get a response from them, then that means they have no concerns about it.
Correct. And every concern that I've seen that has been addressed, so. There are no loose ends.
So, December 5th, 7 o'clock, meeting, public hearing, continuation.
Yes, 7 o'clock.
Thank you for coming.
I don't have a thumb drive to copy that on. We don't have any here, Lisa wouldn't have
I don't have anything here, because I don't,
it? Yeah.
But we have all, I mean, we have all,
But it'd be nice to have, if you wanted to reference something.
yeah.
No, if you went to all that work, it seems like it should.
I can,
I mean,
when I get back to my office,
can you email it to?
it's too big, yeah. I could, I can go, when I go back to my office tomorrow, I have a thumb drive there, I copy it, and I can have somebody bring it up here.
What is it you're gonna have brought up
It
here?
has a list of,
Yes.
Oh,
a
okay.
list of all the documentation.
You can take that one, actually.
So
But
if
you
you
want,
wanted to look up, for example.
Yeah, that's
any of
kinda
the
what I
stuff-
did. I have a checklist and I
Write
have
that
dates
down.
of the.
Could you just get Scott out a copy of
Yep.
our notes from
yes,
tonight, so he's got it to
Yeah.
review?
definitely.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
With one of our members that couldn't be here tonight, Scott was on the road, he called me this afternoon, he said, won't be home in time, so. Thank you.
now half of that list is, there were two things going on, I believe.
Thanks, everybody.
This is, I think this is all 19 pages of this deal, just, there's the foil issues that they asked us to do under. And I have a list for that too, but I figured this is,
It's
but
easy
you
to
can
take
take
a look
that.
big until you
And
sit
then
down and
I'll
cover
have,
it.
I'll copy
Papers
it
in no
tomorrow.
time.
Would you be able to run down there and pick it up at some point?
To be honest, I don't know that.
Really, all right.
If there's anyone else that wants.
Well, if there is something you want to look at from that list, I know there's a hard copy here. You know,
Yeah. so
Yeah.
we just-
Basically, right.
and, you know, maybe you could, somebody could copy a couple pages
Yeah.
from it.
Sure. And I'm
What
sure
is the
we have them all.
status of the?
Yes.
I would talk to you about that in executive.
Okay. Don't need to know.
Okay. Thank you.
But
very
yeah,
much.
absolutely. Thanks for having me. We'll see you next week.
That's right, tell me which way. It never ends.
Oh, sorry.